Heads up, I had a minor audio issue that's affecting about 7 videos, and this is one of them. Back to normal soon. Welcome to rSlash/Choosingbeggars, where a cheater wants to blackmail a church. Our next Reddit post is from Pipe Inevitable. My church only gave me $200 for Christmas, knowing I'm a single mother with 4 kids. Last year they gave me $1,000, but since I stopped the pastor from coming over late nights, he cut my funds. I have a boyfriend now. Before, I was single and desperate for money. He even told me that he would help us out. For the past 5 years, the church gave us $1,000. They're aware of my situation, which means $50 per child. Would I be wrong to tell his wife? I'm $800 short. Why can't churches provide more help for Christmas? I don't even know where to go with this one. Cheating on your wife, not very Christian. Threatening to blackmail a pastor, also not very Christian. But then, also $1,000 a year for prostitution is severely undercutting the market. Our next Reddit post is from Wisdom of Pearl. I was driving alone with my dog across several states. I had just crossed into my home state and needed fuel. So I pulled into the first place that I came to for fuel, and it was busy. As I was finishing up, a young woman pulls up next to me in a huge Ford F-350 and gets out and tells me she left home and forgot her wallet and she's almost out of fuel. She asks me if I could help her out. Earlier that day, I had made a cash purchase and I just put the change I got in my pocket. So, in an effort to be nice to this stranger, I offered her the money that I had in my pocket, a little under $5. The woman looks at the money I offered her and says that won't get me anywhere in her big truck. I said, well, that's all the cash I have on me. She then tells me that I could use my credit card and fill up her truck. I just looked at her like she was some type of alien creature and got in my vehicle and locked the door. She then tapped on my window to tell me she would take my cash. Tapping on my window woke my dog, who began aggressively barking at her, and she stepped back in surprise. I just drove off shaking my head. I'm not sure if that's so much a choosing beggar as it is a scammer. My guess is that this lady pulls this stunt at every gas station she pulls into. Our next Reddit post is from Emergency Twist. So I have an 8-month-old. So far, the total amount of money we've spent on this kid is maybe $1,000, and that's mostly nappies. We were the last of our social circles to have a baby, so we've been the recipients of all their stuff. Clothes, furniture, toys, breast pumps, more clothes. Did I mention clothes? We got baby clothes from 3 different lines of hand-me-downs. My son's clothes previously belonged to his cousins on both sides, and also a whole lot from friends. Babies grow fast. They don't wear out their clothes. An outfit that's been through 6 cousins already will look either new or have some slight stains but be perfectly good. An acquaintance is pregnant and was lamenting the cost of baby clothes, so naturally I offered to supply her. And then she sent me her preferred brands, mostly Ralph Lauren, I kid you not. I told her we have 1 Polo Ralph Lauren onesie, and full disclosure, the baby hated it. Anyway, she proceeded to be outraged and offended that I planned to give her used baby clothes. She was trying to place an order for designer baby clothes. And as a result, we're returning to our original plan for the baby clothes, which is to give them to a domestic violence shelter. She can't even have the 1 Ralph Lauren onesie we do have. Her argument was, you could afford it. My argument is a significant part of why I'm not broke is that I don't waste my money on stupid things like designer baby clothes. We bought none of these clothes, but if I had been buying, the Ralph Lauren onesie would have never been considered. My son isn't too good for used baby clothes, so why the hell would I buy new for your baby? I like my baby better than your baby. Hey, do any of you guys remember your favorite outfit when you were 2 years old? That's right. None of us do. Take it from someone with a 4-year-old. Buying brand new baby clothes is a complete and total ripoff. Our next Reddit post is from Jack the Jacker. I live in New England, and it's a high of 21 degrees Fahrenheit today. Freezing deathly cold. I was on my way to work this morning and I saw a car with hazards on in an entry to a gas station. I pulled over, parked across from them beside a pump, and offered my assistance. I'm not a car guy, but I've changed more than enough flat tires in my day that I know that I can do it with ease. Noticing that their tire was flat, I grabbed my jack and got down, and was talking to the two women through the wind cutting to the bone. They said, "We have a flat, and our check engine light is on too, running real funny." I said, "Sorry to hear that. Maybe someone inside the gas station can take a look at it. I don't know the first thing about engines." The driver woman then looks at my car, a yellow Dodge Charger that's 19 years old. Not a high-end sports car or anything fancy by any means. It's just yellow so it stands out. And she says, "You drive a car like that and expect me to believe that you know nothing about engines? Yeah, okay." And then looked away from me as if I disgusted her. You best believe I immediately started lowering the jack and putting the flat tire right back down where it was and walked away. I told them, "Best of luck," and got back into my nice, warm vehicle and drove to work, which I was now late for. I hope they learn some manners before the next time they break down. Change your own damn tire since you want to cop an attitude with one good Samaritan helping you out. Down in the comments, we have this story from Who Decided. One time, as a random pedestrian/do-gooder, I was clearing leaves out of a storm drain that was overflowing onto the sidewalk and into the front doors of businesses. I was shin deep and dripping in street water, tossing handfuls of leaves away from the drain onto the sidewalk, just for even more leaves to flow into the drain. A guy comes out from one of the businesses and yells at me to stop throwing stuff on his sidewalk. So I just stopped altogether and said, "You're right. This isn't my problem," and watched the water start to spill in through his front doors. The look on his face realizing he suddenly has bigger problems in the sidewalk and how he just yelled at the one person helping him, I'll never forget the absolute, "Oh shit," look on his face. It's just so hard for people to be nice or grateful these days. I definitely left him there to figure it out on his own.
Our next Reddit post is from F. Piano. I used to work in a restaurant that would be visited by beggars asking for free food up to 20 times a day. We were only open from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., so you can imagine how much of a hassle this was. Especially considering that some of them wouldn't take no for an answer until we threatened to trespass them. When it was brought to the attention of the owner, he shrugged and simply said, "Why don't you tell them that we only have vegan dishes to offer? That usually deters them." We didn't believe that it would work, but we tried it anyways. Spoiler alert, it worked pretty well. For the remaining time I worked there, we saw the number of beggars fall from the double figures to less than half a dozen per week. Sure, I had to deal with people cuss me out for only being able to offer steamed broccoli and carrots with tempeh. The sheer horror. But it'd be a one-time thing, and I'd never see them again. So yeah, if you ever encounter someone demanding something and not taking no for an answer, simply offer them something less than what they expected if you'd said yes.
Our next Reddit post is from Shasta. I live in Calgary. For years, since 1989, I've cleared the snow from the street in front of my house. The full length of the house, down to the pavement, the full width of the street. No ice left. Now, this year, I decided not to clear it at all. It's gotten icy, slippery, and dangerous like the rest of the street. A neighbor came over to complain to me because I wasn't creating a safe parking place for their visitors to park like I've always done. Apparently, someone came over and parked in front of my house and slipped and fell when they got out the day before. They got injured. Now this neighbor is saying that they'll sue me because I didn't clear the street for them. I said that I wasn't doing it anymore since everyone else took advantage of my hard work and I got minimal benefits. And no one ever said thank you in 35 years. I asked them, why didn't you clear the snow in front of your house? They said they didn't need to since they just used the area that I cleared and that it was too much work. And then my neighbor said that they'd be suing me for not clearing the snow and causing their friend to miss work and badly twist their ankle. I did wonder why that ambulance came by. Apparently, they couldn't drive after hurting themselves in the fall. And my neighbor also said the ambulance people had to cut off the victim's boot to examine the ankle. So I also owe a new pair of boots. The audacity of some people to expect me to clear a public street just to benefit them because I'd always done it. I'm still waiting for a letter from the lawyer. If it comes, I'll be suing them back for my time and effort to have to respond to the lawsuit. And no, my house insurance won't cover anything as it was on a public street. The city just says you need to take due care and attention on public roads, so they'll also get nowhere with the city. In a way, it almost would be better to lose the case because that would establish that neighbors are responsible for your sidewalk. And so, yeah, you would have to pay out for 1 year of not cleaning your sidewalk, but then you could sue that neighbor for 35 years and get a 34 times payout. Our next post is kind of a collection of posts. It's a professional nanny, I guess, and she's sharing the most entitled nanny listings she's ever encountered. Attorney and school psychologists need help with occasional meal prep, house cleaning, making sure the kids don't burn the house down, helping to make sure homework is completed, and driving the twins to school in such and such 3 days a week. The children reside part-time in the home and are largely self-sufficient, other than the twins commuting to school. We're looking to exchange services for sharing a home. The caregiver will be provided access to the entire home, but will have a private kitchenette, bath, bed, and entrance. We'll be asking for the caregiver to share in up to $600 to $900 in monthly household expenses, depending on the services the caregiver is willing and able to provide. No other compensation is offered. Nice. So you have to pay them to be their nanny. Hey, OP, my name is Blank, and me and my wife are expecting our third child this January. We're looking for someone reliable, as our schedules are very last minute. We would provide guaranteed hours, as we need you to be available Monday through Thursday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. However, we would only use you about 30 to 35 hours out of the week. We need help with household laundry, organization, appointment scheduling, and meal prep. We're looking to pay a weekly rate, since you won't be working for the entire time we need you available. We paid our last nanny $200 per week, but we're willing to either provide an untaxable monthly stipend of $50 for gas, or $275 a week on the books. Our next Reddit post is from Maxor. I had family visiting over the weekend. My aunt and uncle are super friendly, but my cousin is a piece of work. She recently graduated with a useless degree, is unemployed, and refuses to get a part-time job, even though she complains non-stop about not having any money. Because, in her words, people with degrees don't need to work retail. The whole weekend tested every ounce of my patience. As part of our culture, we cook for visiting family the entire time. Her parents and brother appreciated the meals, but she constantly made faces at the food and threw away full plates every single night. We even went out of our way to make a wide variety of dishes and hinted to her mom to tell us what she likes. Nothing made her happy. Every day, she asked if I could take her and her brother out to eat, even though her brother always said that he was full and didn't want fast food. That didn't stop her from saying, "Since you work, you can treat us to some real food." One night, I went on a snack run and texted both of them asking if they wanted anything. I told them it was on me. They asked for soda and chips, and while her brother thanked me, she gave me a dirty look and said, "You got regular Coke? You know I only drink diet." I checked the texts, and she literally just said, "Coke." She also complained that I got a small bag of chips and said, "We're adults, you know." Her brother didn't say anything. He just shook his head, thanked me, and walked away. The final straw came during a family conversation in the living room. My cousin and her mom were talking about redecorating her room. They kept mentioning how much they loved the giant mirrors from IKEA and Target, the ones that are around $100. They even showed my mom the styles they liked on their phone. Coincidentally, I'd seen the exact same mirror style and size on Facebook Marketplace the day before. It was being given away for free by an older couple across town. I woke up early the day they were supposed to leave, picked it up, and got back just in time to surprise them. My aunt was thrilled and practically screamed with excitement when she saw it. My cousin, on the other hand, looked at the mirror and immediately asked where I got it. When I told her it was free off Facebook, she scrunched her face and said, "You should just return it and buy a new one." I told her that if she didn't want it, that was completely fine, but I wasn't buying her a new mirror. Then I turned to my aunt and said that I hoped she and her husband enjoyed their time. I said goodbye and walked away without acknowledging my cousin again. I felt a little bad for not saying goodbye to her, but honestly, it was such a relief to watch their car leave. Our next Reddit post is from Anna Battle. So, I'm a 31-year-old woman, and I've been working professionally as a photographer for about 6 years. Last weekend, I booked a golden hour session for a lovely couple at a local park. Paid in full, signed a contract, all good. While I'm setting up, this random woman with 2 kids walks over and just starts hovering. At first, I thought that she was just passing by, but nope, she literally started posing her kids right next to my clients. I politely told her that it was a private shoot and I would appreciate it if she could give us a bit of space. She says, "Oh, don't worry, I just need a few good shots of my babies. You're already shooting, so what's the harm?" I explain again that this is a paid session, and I can't just start photographing other people mid-shoot, and I let her know that she was embarrassing my clients and I. Then came the classic. "Wow, you're seriously going to deny 2 innocent children a memory just because of money? You're already here. Just snap a few. It cost you nothing." I said, "Actually, it cost me time, energy, editing, storage, and equipment wear." She walked off muttering, "Greedy B-word," loud enough for me and my clients to hear. I swear, I'm too old for this nonsense. I'm 31, not a charity. Well, OP probably did give those 2 kids a memory, because I would be much more likely to remember my mom cussing out a random lady in a park than I would some random photograph session.
That was rSlash/Choosingbeggars, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.